like to welcome everyone to this special meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court. This is a meeting that is in lieu of the regular meeting that was scheduled for Tuesday evening at 5:30. Of course, we moved it due to the election, and we have a fairly lengthy agenda that we think we can move through reasonably quick. So before we begin, I'd like to ask everyone to make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent. And at this time, I would like to ask Coach Philip Haywood if he would say the invocation for us today. Coach, would you come up to the podium up here with the microphone, sir? And we'd be honored to have you do that for us. And while you're there, we'll let you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after the roll call, sir.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the wonderful opportunities that you give us to come together in this type of situations to make decisions that affect and will enhance this county. We ask that you be with the leadership of Pike County. We ask that you be with everyone in here, that the right decisions be made and that would be pleasing to you. We just give honor and glory and blessing to everything that you do, and we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Coach. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Robertson. Here. Commissioner Tackett.
Here.
Commissioner Booth.
Here.
We have a quorum and we are ready to proceed. I'd like to ask Coach Haywood if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the October 20, 2020 meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second. We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson.
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. This time, I would like to ask Mr. Danny Oliver and Mr. Matt Varney and Coach Haywood if they could come up to the front table. At the last meeting, I believe it was, we had Mr. Mark Carroll and Mr. Oliver and Mr. Varney here discussing their intent to, or their desire to lease the property at Hardy Park and to do a development there. And we have some stuff that they're passing out here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. You have distributed some information, and let me just run through this. You've got a diagram of how you want to develop this with slides, a new kiddie pool, cabins. Also, you've given us a plan that the Little League Park would become an area, a parking area, be a privacy fence put up. The softball park, the area will become an RV park, and then the swimming pool and pavilion will remain intact and operational. We're looking at enclosing the pavilion area for year-round activities and events. Then adding 2 water slides and catch pools between the pool and tennis courts. Tennis court area will be adding a kiddie area and also the possibility of a lazy river, and then 4 to 5 cabins. The question I have, where will would there be a place to move the Little League Park and the softball park? Danny, do you have any idea how to deal with that?
We have not discussed that. I know that the area that we're talking about has not been used recently in the past few years. So the tennis courts, we have discussed that area. You know, if we end up using that area, we've talked with Mark and the guys, and we will make arrangements with the high school that if they have an area that we will be able to build them a tennis court, hopefully on their property, on the school property, rather than them have to travel up there to do that.
That would make, go ahead,
Yeah,
Commissioner.
the Little League field, I did contact Chris Fight, Matt Hager knows that's in charge of the Little League field, and they said this year they only used it, the Little League field twice. And I told them what Danny and them's plan was, and they said they didn't have no problem in it because they got the Little League field at Black Gym Park. And the other field, the big field, softball field, it's not been used, and I couldn't tell you when it's been used last. It's just been years and years since that field's been used. Actually, they used it for a practice field for the football and soccer for a while. So there's not, that field's not even kind of an operational at all.
At Commissioner Booth's request, we have prepared a draft lease agreement. Colonel Downey has prepared this. Colonel, could you come up and just explain? I've not had an opportunity to read it yet because we did this over the last couple of days. The only thing I see rather quickly is we need to put page numbers on it. But other than that, Roy, could you go ahead and tell us what we're looking at?
This basically leases the area to Hardy Park to this group. They do have an official name, and it's in there. It's Eastern Kentucky Holding. And the lease would be for a 10-year period with an automatic renewal if they want for another 10 years. They also have 3 years to get this underway. That's just a standard clause. So if they can't make a substantial move towards completion within 3 years, and I think in talking to them, they want to get started, but it would revert back. At some point, if they want to turn it back over to the county, they have that option. It's a standard lease. The county has the right to go in and inspect and things like that. And then after 30 days, basically, we have 30 days to move any of our stuff off, to get it somewhere else. If there's stuff that we have there after that, they can do what they want with it.
And we've got a provision that they can't interfere with the fire department, correct?
There is a provision, that was going to be my next thing, Judge. What we did is accept it from the lease, the property that's occupied by Belfry Volunteer Fire Department Station Number 3. And they're going to agree not to impede their functions in any way. That does allow them some latitude if they want to come back in conjunction, in agreement with the fire department. Let's say that they can maybe come up with a better building on the property at another location, that they can do that. We're not locking them into a specific area, but they will respect and not impede the fire station, and I believe they understand that. I think they realize the importance of that group to the community over there.
One other thing, is it, Danny, is it Eastern Kentucky Holdings LLP?
LLLP.
Yeah, we've got an extra L in that. We've got
Is it
It's LLLP.
3
There's
L's?
3 Ls, yes,
There is 3 L's. It's
limited liability,
limited liability
Limited partnership.
partnership.
should be,
Limited liability, limited partnership. I checked it with our expert, Mr. Bill.
that's a new one on me.
He said it's
I
relatively
just sue
new.
people, I don't do this kind of stuff.
Bill is sure.
I'm not the guy you want doing documents. Kevin and Roy will tell you that. I mean, you want to sue somebody, call me if you want, but this is not my cup of tea.
Bill told me it's relatively new, and this is the first one in my life I've seen, but he did, and I did go research it after he told me about it, so it's valid.
Shows you how little transactional law I do. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I thought it was a typo, so. All right. Is there a motion? Well, let me ask this. Would Commissioner Booth have a motion to approve a lease between the Pike County Fiscal Court and Eastern Kentucky Holdings LLLP for the property located at known as Hardy Park for a term of 10 years with a reversion after 3 years if the property's not been developed? Okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Booth. I would suspect that one of the other commissioners may have a second to that motion.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion?
I just want to say, I'm glad to be able to vote on this for you all, because this goes right with the plan of bringing outside money to Pike County, and that community up there definitely needs something like this.
And I think that by having these water slides and stuff and all that'll help that part of the area. I think it'll help Belfry, Hardy, Blackberry, the whole community over there, because when people travels in, to use this, they'll spend money in that area, and I think it'd be a great asset to that area over there. And I think these gentlemen do an outstanding job of running it and taking care of it.
Well, Danny, Matt, let me just, the public probably needs a little explanation about this. And I probably need to give a little history. A decade ago, roughly, 8 years ago, the county collected about $12.4 million in coal and mineral severance tax. Last year, we collected $1.4 million, and we're on pace to hit about $1.1 million this year. A lot of the infrastructure that the county has, including, the ball fields I played on up at Long Fork at Virgie, when I was growing up, were paid for by coal severance tax. Well, as those funds have continued to decline, and we're seeing now, it's not really, the coal is continuing to decline, but natural gas is really taking a major hit. We simply do not have the funds to take care of the infrastructure that the county has. And I talked about this as far back as 2008 when I was in the state senate. I absolutely went to the fiscal court members and said, look, you can't keep spending coal severance tax money on parks and playgrounds. I know they're great things for communities, but when the coal severance tax was starting to go down even then, coal production was continuing to go down. And as coal production went down, the only thing that held up the revenue was the price of coal had some spikes, and the revenue was able to at least slow down the declining revenue. But now we have literally over 100 pieces of property. At Reggie's 108, 110, over 100 pieces of property that the Pike County Fiscal Court is responsible for. We're paying for electricity and water for parks and playgrounds and community centers and senior citizen centers and fire departments. We're helping to maintain over 100 pieces of property. And at one time, a friend of mine, Burt Melton, that was a public works commissioner, at one time had over 40 employees in public works. We have 7 or 8 in public works right now. It's simply the only way that we can continue to take care of the basic needs of our infrastructure is to look for private partnerships, public-private partnerships that can help develop this. We did the same thing with the Senior Citizen Center that the Senior Citizen Center Board closed at Phelps. This fiscal court didn't close that center, the Senior Citizen Center Board did. But we had an expensive, a nice facility there, and now in a few months we're going to have a comprehensive medical clinic. We've already signed a lease with Big Sandy Healthcare. And so the public will understand this group, including Mr. Carroll. I think it speaks volumes about this group that's trying to do this because they've got Philip Haywood with them. And Coach, I don't have to tell you how much respect I have for you. Not only is he one of the best football coaches in America, he's probably as fine a man as you'll ever meet. And I think both of you all would agree with that. I think he's a better man than he is a football coach.
Yes, sir.
And when you see him coming forward to speak on your behalf, that's all I need to know. Now, let me say this. You all, and Mr. Carroll, as my understanding, put several $100,000 in to help finish the football field at Belfry. That's a very generous thing from someone who grew up here that no longer lives here. A lot of people have moved away and they forgot where they're from. Mark didn't do that. And it's important that when you have people who are willing to come in and make an investment in Pike County, we talk about bringing outside companies in to try to do developments and projects. We've got people here that are wanting to come home and invest. To me, that's the first thing we have to do. And there's a lot of people that have made a lot of money here, moved to Lexington, moved wherever. They forgot about where they came from. And, Mr. Carroll's not done that, and it's greatly appreciated. And we appreciate you all being willing to do this. There's 2 areas of Pike County that I am convinced have tremendous potential for growth. 2 areas in particular. One, and let me say this, we're going to do this trail system. It may take us a little longer than we thought. We've made more progress on a comprehensive trail system. It's been talked about. They were talking about this when I was elected to the state senate 20 years ago. We've made more progress in the last year than has ever been made on it at any point. We've got the first lease. We're getting ready to approve an agreement today to be used with landowners. We're getting ready to hire land agents to help us start with the lease acquisition. So with the trail system, there's two areas in particular that have tremendous potential for growth. One is Elkhorn City. Pine Mountain, the Breaks Interstate Park, the river, trail system through there. And when it cuts on over, it will eventually come into Blackberry and over into Pond Creek. If you look at the other area of growth, if you look at the county tax base, we don't get any of the occupational tax generated in the city of Pikeville. A lot of people don't realize that. If you work in the city of Pikeville, you pay 2% occupational tax. We don't get any of that money in the county coffers. We generate a lot of our tax money in South Williamson, in the Belfry area. There's potential to have significant development in Pond Creek. And, we're spending a lot of money over there. Since I've been in the legislature, we've put money into our fire departments, we put money into our county roads, our infrastructure, and we put money into water and sewer. I mean, there's all the things that we've done to try to make sure, and there's a lot of commerce that comes in from West Virginia. I mean, in your part of the county, you are bringing money in from outside of the county. And that, to me, is an important thing, and we need to do more of that. We need to try to get more business from people in West Virginia and other areas that are coming in using the Hatfield-McCoy Trail System. I think this project that you're going to do will go a long way to help bring more revenue into Pike County. I think you all will be hiring people. You're going to be paying property taxes. You're going to be paying occupational tax on those people. And it's going to generate economic activity. And it's going to give something positive back to the Belfry community. And to me, it's a win-win situation, and we appreciate you all. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other question or discussion?
I did talk to Paul. I think he said he had a lawnmower up there. He had to get out. And I believe he said that next month or something, he'd work out the utilities where they could take over the utilities. That way we'd go ahead and finish them out this month.
The one thing about the cabin up there,
Yeah.
what are we going to do about do you all want us to, the caretaker cabin that's up there?
No, we will have somebody there. There'll be a night watchman / manager of the park of the RVs and stuff like that. So yeah, we will want that area.
Okay. So we'll probably need to terminate that lease, and we'll do another. It's actually not a lease. Just let me give you an example of what was done at one time. I mean, the county was building cabins for people to live in for free. And, sometimes these people were not even contributing to the upkeep of the property or whatever. I mean, the county can't be in the business of giving people places to live. And, I don't know who's living there now, but we've had issues with this. We've had some significant, Jason, I think it's fair to say we've had some significant issues with people, not positive, but some bad things, in some of these people that, not taking care of the place, causing problems. So we'll act on that here momentarily. So we have a motion, a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Now, we don't have it on the agenda because we do have a discussion of Hardy Park. I guess it would fall under that, and potential approval of lease. I don't know that we can vote to do that, but I think that as county judge, I can go ahead and give notice that the property's been leased. The person's not paying rent on it, I don't believe. Paul's not here, I don't think. So we'll go ahead and take what action we need to do. May have to do something at the next court meeting if there's an issue. But we'll go ahead and give notice that they'll have to vacate the premises, okay? And Jeannie, if you'll prepare a letter, and Paul can hand deliver that for us. We probably need to give the person that's there at least 30 days notice.
That's fine. That's fine.
We don't want to put somebody out that's.
No, sir.
All right. So that concludes this matter. As soon as we get a break here, I can sign the lease agreement, or I can sign this one here. We probably, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this. So Roy, if you'll switch with me, I've got the signed copy here. And that way we can go ahead, you all can do what you need to do. Roy can take you out there and get this done.
Sure.
So, gentlemen, look forward to seeing what you do over there, and we'll help you any way we can.
Guys, thank all of y'all. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Before we move on, I do want to ask that the people of the county remember the family of Kenneth Osborne. Kenneth is a brother of Pike County PVA Lonnie Osborne. His wife Brenda is a retired educator. Kenneth passed away last night, one of the finest men you'll ever meet. I graduated from high school, went all the way K through 12 with Kenneth and Brenda's daughter, Kelly. And I just want to extend my condolences. Kenneth passed away as a result of COVID-19. He was a healthy person, no prior problems. And, you know, the death toll in Pike County is going up. We're somewhere around 15 now. The cases have continued to go up. We're still in the red zone. We'll give you a number, hopefully, about where we are. We've had an outbreak in at least 3 of our nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and it has been catastrophic. And it's not just the people who are passing away. There's a lot of people who are really sick, and it runs you got young people who are really sick, you've got elderly people who are really sick, and we are in a surge. And I just want to remind people, there are 3 or 4 things that we can do, because we are in the red zone. Pike County is one of 80 or so counties in Kentucky that is now in the red zone. We're encouraging all employers to allow employees to work from home when possible, non-critical government offices to operate virtually, reduce in-person shopping, order online or for curbside pickup, order takeout. They are saying to avoid dining in restaurants or bars, prioritize businesses that follow and enforce mask mandates and other guidelines, reschedule, postpone, or cancel public and private events, do not host or attend gatherings of any size, avoid non-essential activities outside of your home, reduce overall activity and contacts, and follow existing guidelines. So, I mean, this is a real problem, and it's not going to go away anytime soon, and in fact, it's getting worse. And again, I would just ask for everyone to continue to pray for those people who have been impacted, to pray for the Osborne family, and pray that our country can get through this. There's so many people have died, and there's so many people who are, while they're no longer positive, they've had it, but they're still suffering from long-term effects from the virus. So again, hopefully we'll have some updated numbers before the end of the meeting. The next thing on the agenda is acknowledgement of receipt of the Pike County Board of Health 2020 tax rates. The rates have been kept the same as last year, 6 cents per $100 of assessed value on real property, 6 cents per 100 assessed value on personal property, 6 cents per $100 assessed value on motor vehicle and watercraft. We do have the documents from the health department. And is there a motion to acknowledge the rates from the Pike County Board of Health 2020 tax rates?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Next up, we have the Pike County Public Library District. Luella, would you like to come on up for a second? We'll get you in and get you out real quick, Luella. And we have here, so the public will know, Ms. Luella Allen, who's the director of the Pike County Public Library District, and we have received your documents concerning the property tax rate certification. The rates this year have been lowered on real and personal property, and the same as last year on motor vehicle and watercraft. 13.5 cents per $100 of assessed value on real property. It was 13.9 cents last year, 17.91 cents per 100 assessed value on personal property. Last year was 18.66, and then $2.39 for the motor vehicles. And I want to commend you all, Llewellyn, because, you know, we've expressed our concern over the tax rates from some of our taxing districts. We appreciate what the Pike County Library District does. You know, I love going to the library there across from my house when I grew up, and I love to read, and a lot of kids do, and a lot of kids would not have had that opportunity but for our library district, and it's had a lot of benefit. Have I been concerned over the tax rate? Yes, I have. And I do want to commend the board at the library district for rolling back taxes. I think that's a very positive sign, particularly in the economic times that we're in. So thank you very much. Do you have anything you'd like to bring before the court today? You might want to turn that microphone on. I think somebody pull it a little closer. But anyway, we appreciate you all and look forward to working with you. And again, thank you on behalf of the taxpayers. All right. So is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Public Library District 2020 tax rates?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking care of people in Pike County, too.
All right, the next is the acknowledgement of the receipt of the Pike County Extension Board 2020 tax rates. The rates are the same as last year. Is there a motion to acknowledge? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Next item is acknowledgement of receipt of the Pike County Schools 2020 tax rate. It is the same as last year. Is there a motion to acknowledge?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll if there's no other question or discussion.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Next item is acknowledgement of receipt of the Pikeville Independent Schools 2020 tax rates. The rates were increased on real property from 74 cents per $100 of assessed value. It was increased from 74 cents to 74.7 cents on both real property and personal property, and 74 cents per 100 assessed value on motor vehicle and watercraft. Is there a motion? We have to acknowledge and not approve of.
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. And I do want to point out that the Pike County Fiscal Court did not raise taxes. And even though it's going to cost the county about $390,000 in lost revenue next year, we have not increased taxes. And it is the will of this court that, that there will not be a tax increase while we're in office. So we cannot control what the other agencies do. We do recognize that the economy is in dire straits right now in eastern Kentucky, and but we're going to do our part to hold it down. Is there any other question or discussion on this? Not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. I need a motion to place all tax rates on one court order. We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. We have had communications with our attorney, Linda Ain, regarding Suddenlink, and we are in the process of, we're going to conduct a public hearing pursuant to the franchise agreement. And let me explain the process. The details are in the packet. Basically, the email that you have lays out the process, and essentially, we're going to schedule a public hearing before the next evening fiscal court meeting. And then at that point, we'll have on the agenda, if the hearing allows, if there's evidence of violation of the franchise agreement, pass a resolution. And then we will be consulting with our attorney that if the court finds that there has been a violation, then we will decide what remedial steps. Now, we're still getting a lot of people contacting us about Suddenlink. I do want to remind the public that the county's legal authority only extends to the regulation of television. It does not extend to the regulation of internet service. All we can address at the public hearing is television. Under federal law preempts any state or local regulation of internet. It's strictly governed by the Federal Communications Commission. And we have advised people that if they're having problems with their internet, that they need to file a claim or complaint with the FCC. So I would ask for authorization to schedule a public hearing to determine whether or not Sequel 3 Communications 2 LLC, DBA Suddenlink Communications, has violated any of the provisions of ordinance number 06.07.04.014, and that a public hearing, again, be scheduled for December 1st, 2020 at the hour of 4 p.m. I will be presiding, and the county attorney's office will also be participating. Is there a motion to authorize the scheduling of a public hearing at that time and place?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion?
I want to say one thing, Judge. I've got a good friend on Chloe that the TV line got tore down. It's been over 5 weeks and they still not hooked his TV back up. 5 weeks. It might be going on 6.
Well, it was told to me, one of the garbage trucks tore it down, is my understanding.
Yes.
But there shouldn't be hanging that low enough for a truck to tear it down, as it's.
Well, I think it was a dumpster. They were dumping a dumpster at RH Group's house. And I don't know, but he notified Suddenlink and they still not hooked his TV back up.
There's no way a line should be hanging low enough that it would be.
Well, I think 5 weeks to get your TV line put back up, something's wrong. They're failing somewhere.
Well, that's why we need to have this hearing. All right. And we would encourage you to have that individual come to the hearing.
I've got a friend that they asked him $5,000 to run his internet service to his house. They've already got internet service in that hall.
We can't do a thing about that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any other question or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next item is the approval of appointments to the Pike County Cooperative Extension District Board. It will be my motion to reappoint Joy Collins and Eddie Coleman to the board. Is there a second?
Go ahead.
There's a second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Mr. King, the next item up is authorization to execute a contract for land representatives for the Pike County ATV Trails Development Project.
This is simply the contract for the independent contractors we discussed, to have land agents go out and actually negotiate the leases for the property that we've identified that are contained within the trail system. The court had asked for an independent contractor agreement. Ms. Sharon Hall was kind enough to help us put this together, and I reviewed it and made some changes, and it is in its final form.
My question is, how many tracts of land in the initial trail do we think we're going to have to get leases from?
I think there's 108. That's like from point A to point B. There's some co-property, there's some co-land or large tracts of land that co-companies own that we're already working with. So our land agents will not be dealing with the co-companies. They will just be dealing with the
The individuals?
individual.
All right. Is there a motion? Kevin, you're okay with this? I know you and Colonel Downey drafted it.
I am.
Is there a motion to authorize execution of a contract with land representatives? We need to specify who they are. It'll be George Atkins. Give me the names, Ronnie. George Atkins.
Shannon Robinson, George Albert Atkins, and Nate
Reed.
Reed.
All right. So we have a motion to authorize execution of a contract for land representatives with George Atkins, Nathaniel Reed, and Shannon Robinson as land representatives of the Pike County ATV Trails Development Project.
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. So just before we move on to the next item, we did get a number from the Health Department updated. So far, 1,186 total COVID cases in Pike County with 12 deaths. We think that there are more than that. I think it may be up to 15 now. But there's 336 active cases still in this week. I know the last number, there was about 29 hospitalized in Pike County. 30 hospitalized in Pike County right now. We have 30 people hospitalized with COVID. So again, it is a serious problem. And I wanted to give those updated numbers because the cases are continuing to increase. And we will hopefully have someone from the health department here at the next meeting to give us an update at the next meeting. Now, one issue we probably need to go ahead and address is that the next regular court meeting, it would have been on the 16th or 17th, I'm sorry, 17th. Is that right? 17th. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to reschedule that. I've got a family member that's got to have surgery on the 16th. I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 days because of that. And we're going to have to move that meeting, and we'll get a date to the press. And the second meeting will also have to be done. It's something that I cannot be here, and it is a family medical issue. So,
Hey, Judge, I'm going to be out of town that week.
you're going to be out of town.
Be out of town that week from
Well, that's
Wednesday.
2 of us, so we'll just move it to a different day. Following week, we can probably do it.
Huh?
All right, so the next item is second reading of a proposed road ordinance establishing a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit for Little Fork, CR 3156. Mr. Downey, would you please, or Mr. King, please present the second reading?
As you said, this is a second reading up for motion and vote today that would establish for Pike County Road 3156, commonly known as Little Fork, a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit.
Is there a motion to adopt proposed road ordinance establishing 25-mile-an-hour speed limit for Little Fork CR 3156?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Next item is authorization to execute the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Division of Maintenance Agreement for services to be performed in conjunction with government agencies. This allows us to purchase up to 500 tons of salt at $90.76 per ton, with $142 per ton for handling and a one-time administrative fee of $97.15. This is to be done on an emergency basis only. If we need salt, we can get it from the Transportation Cabinet. It's the same thing, motion we've done last year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next item is adoption of resolution approving the execution of an agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways and the Pike County Fiscal Court in the amount of $350,000, which is discretionary money for the Penny Street Bridge project. And let me say, this project will put us at roughly $1.3 million in the last year in discretionary money that this court has been able to obtain from the state. You know, in the past, it's my understanding that they weren't even asking for help. And we've got some other information that we're going to share with you this afternoon or this morning when Mr. Little comes up. But I do think it's a positive that Governor Beshear has committed $350,000. This bridge, we've already had to do work on it to keep it from being shut down by the state. It's been years and years it's been in need of replacement. Mr. Little lives on Penny Road. Their school buses travel this bridge. It is a large bridge, and it is going to be a big project to replace this. But it is a very positive thing that we're getting $350,000. There's no match to it. They're giving us the money to build a new bridge. So I want to thank Mr. Little on this because he put the packet together. I want to thank Commissioner Tackett because he took it directly to Transportation Secretary Jim Gray and presented it to him right when Secretary Gray first came in.
Actually, Judge, we had taken this project before the election, the previous administration, and we never heard nothing back. Then we run into Mr. Gray, Secretary Gray, at a meeting, and he got the packet, and like we said a couple weeks ago,
let nobody mistake the fact that Commissioner Tackett is not shy about asking for money. So,
Well, also, I think the meeting we had with Commissioner Gray up there on the new road and at the industrial park, I mean, I think he's going to help. I think he's going to help Pike County. I mean, you see the awarding of the money for the other bridge.
I think it's important to note that Governor Patton called, and Commissioner Tackett and Commissioner Robertson accompanied Secretary of Transportation Jim Gray, Governor Patton, and representatives from the Highway Department up to look at this bridge. And if you recall, the Bevin administration was going to postpone the construction of the bridge there at Beaver for 2 or 4 years. I can't remember how long it was. But working with Governor Beshear made this happen. Make no mistake about this. When you've got $500 or $600 million already invested in a road that you can't use because the bridge hadn't been built, it really didn't make sense. And this administration recognized that. We worked with Rocky Atkins, we worked with Secretary Gray, and I want to thank Senator Philip Wheeler for his hard work on this. I think it's important that we congratulate him on his victory. He's worked closely with this fiscal court. We're very happy that he's going to be here to work with us for 4 more years, as well as the rest of the legislative delegation, including newly elected Representative-elect Norma Kirk McCormick. And, we think we'll have a good group of people to work with. But it took a team effort. It was bipartisan. It was Republican help getting it done. It was Democratic help getting it done. And this is going to help us get US 460 completed years and years earlier than what it would have otherwise. So,
And Governor Patton joined us that day.
Yes.
And Governor Patton told Secretary Gray he'd like to have a little return on his money for this road,
It was actually, I think it's 750 million,
Million,
460 project.
it's about 750 million. When I was in the legislature, it started out at about 500 million. But as time goes on, inflation comes, it went from 500 to somewhere, I don't know exact numbers, it's somewhere in the 700 million range. But that road was really, probably would never have been possible but for Paul Patton. I can tell you it wouldn't have been possible because.
And actually, Senator Wheeler was with us.
Yeah.
We handed the packet to Commissioner Gray that night at Lexington.
Well, Secretary Gray served 2 terms as mayor of Lexington. He understands the importance of transportation, and I think he'll be a friend to Eastern Kentucky. So, they've had their hands full dealing with the pandemic. Not unlike ourselves, none of us thought when we were running for this office we would have to deal with a pandemic that, happens once every 100 years or so to this magnitude. And but we are making some progress, and I think it's a very, very good thing for Elkhorn City and all of Pike County to get that road completed. So thank you all for your hard work on it. All right, back to Penny Street Bridge. Again, we're going to keep asking the state for discretionary funds when they're available. They're going to get tired of us asking, so that hopefully they'll give us some money to make us go away from time to time. So is there a motion to authorize adoption of resolution approving the execution of the agreement between the Transportation Cabinet and the Fiscal Court for the project for Penny Street Bridge in the amount of $350,000 in authorization for the county judge to sign all necessary documents?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Mr. Fan, anything for awarding a bid, sir?
We had a bid opening on October 23rd for bid number 38-2020 for 2 2020 or newer 1-ton trucks. 1 bid was received. It was from Bruce Walters Ford here in Pikeville. The bid that they sent was if we ordered the trucks. I was told it could be 3 to 4 months before we would see the trucks. There's not a lot of new vehicle inventory right now because of the pandemic. I think most of the auto manufacturers shut down for several months this spring, so inventory is very low everywhere. The solid waste department needs 2 trucks as soon as possible. Therefore, it would be my recommendation that we reject this bid. When there's not a bid for current product, KRS allows us to do a non-competitive negotiation. This allows us to locate a truck and go ahead and negotiate and purchase it. I've been able to locate 1 truck at Dutch's Auto in Mount Sterling. This truck meets all the specifications that we had in the bid package. We can purchase this truck for $43,900, which is $11,075 less than the MSRP price. It'd be my recommendation that we purchase this truck and approve issuing a check to pay for it and allow me to continue to locate an additional truck. Also, these trucks, when we do purchase them, we will be adding, it's on state contract, but I want to inform the court that we will be adding the easy dump bed with the rear tipper and the top sweeper. The state contract price for 2 of those was $50,993, so for 1 of them it'd be $25,500 roughly.
I don't have the numbers here in front of me to prove those, so if you could give me those numbers, we'll have to do that.
Pardon?
Hand me those numbers, because I can't make a motion without having the numbers here.
It's on state contract. You're talking about?
I know, but we still have to authorize the purchase in it. If you'll give me that, we still have to approve that, I just need the number.
That's the price for 2 complete.
Easy dumps.
So inside the bid.
Why don't you, Jeannie, run back there, well, I'll get a copy, let me pass that over to the members. So let me ask you this, if we bought one now, could we go ahead and order the other one from Walters? I would prefer that keep our money local. And we've tried to do that. But I've talked to Walters, they can't get them unless they order. So Reggie, what's your thoughts about buying the one that we need now? What's that? How many of the old mini packers do we have on the road? So we've been able to take off how many? Ronnie, you got a question about that?
No, I know we need the 2 trucks, and that gets the other 2 off the road that they're repairing daily, right, Reggie?
You have a question about the easy dumps? That's the state contract price, so I don't know.
Well, what if we get a cheaper price than the state contract price?
You can get a cheaper price than the state contract.
I can check. That's the quote that we got. That's the state contract price.
Sometimes I've found, and I don't know, you can see, but sometimes you can get a bid cheaper than you can get state contract price. Just because it's state contract price don't mean it's the cheapest price out there.
I'll have to agree. I've seen that happen.
So, I would bid it, it'd be at the next court meeting or whatever, and just see if we can get it. Every dollar you save would be that much. It don't happen every time, but sometimes it does
What have we
happen.
been paying for them? The other ones we bought, what we pay for them?
Well, the other ones we bought, we didn't buy with the sweeper top. I think, we had a bid. I need to go back and see if what's in the year, but we did bid these in the past. If I recall correctly, just the easy dump itself was right at $20,000. And then we added the tipper.
How many
and then we added a
companies-
sweeper top.
How many companies are there that sells these?
There's 2 that we have dealt with.
Larry Beavers and Larry Riddle, right?
Yes.
How many are available? Now, you mentioned to me there's an issue about there's only so many of these things available.
No, not the easy dumps. I talked to Municipal, who has state contract on them, and they said that there would be about a 3-week lead time once I ordered them.
Okay.
Didn't want to order them without, bringing it before the court. I also wasn't sure about if we would be able to get the trucks or not, so I wanted to get that out of the way before I placed an order, but he said there'd be about a 3-week lead time. And we have installed them. We've had them delivered to our maintenance garage, and our maintenance garage has installed them on the trucks.
What? They do the installation on the truck and bring it to you after you get the truck?
No, they bring the easy dump and then the garage installs them.
The garage can install them?
So if we buy this one truck, we can get it first of the week, right?
Yes, I talked again to the representative from Dutch's Auto in Mount Sterling yesterday. He said that he is holding that truck until I was able to see what would happen in this meeting this morning, and I would let him know this afternoon. He said, I will actually be in Pikeville tomorrow afternoon. He said, I'm actually a college basketball official, and I've got the game at the Expo Center between U Pike and Rio Grande this evening. But he said, if you all buy the truck, he said, I will have it to you first of the week.
So the first,
I say go ahead and buy the truck, but I think we ought to shop around for the easy dump it's in it.
you got
I'll put
two
in it.
places. Do you want to put bids out for them?
I probably need to go back and look at the contracts we have in place. I think we bid some in the past. I don't know if it's been within the year. If it was in the year, we can take a look at that. If not, I can rebid the dump and sweeper top and tipper.
I think we ought to get a bid from Mid-State. We've already got a bid from Municipal, right? I think we ought to,
I think this here. I think this here just state
That's a
price.
state contract price. that you
yeah,
don't have to
but
bid.
if we can beat the state contract price, I'm not saying we can or we can't, but we ought to check.
If I remember correctly, we bid the tippers last time.
We didn't buy.
Yeah, we didn't buy the sweeper top. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
bought the
got
sweeper
one
top
now.
on
but-
Contract, on state contract. If I'm not mistaken, Brian, help me here. If I'm not mistaken, we bid the rear tippers, and it seems like Larry Beavers installed the rear tippers for us. Let me go back and look at that contract and see what the date is on that and see what the pricing is, and,
What I've been seeing now, prices is fluctuating. Down, some of us want.
well, when you've got
I
when
may
you
save a few thousand right now.
Well, it's possible, but usually when you bid them like that, you put a contract in place for a year. Now, they can sell it to you a little bit cheaper than what they signed that one-year contract for. We'll just have to see if that's possible.
Or if you know what the state contract price is, you could always go to them and say, you're gonna have to beat this. I mean, just go ahead and put a bid out for them.
May I suggest that we take this up in closed session? Reason that we need to talk. Contract.
We can't do that in executive session.
But if we talk about the parameters of the bid, about it.
I don't think you can.
The problem is like this truck that's available, if you award the one bid to Walters for the truck and order it, then you're not rejecting that bid. You can't non-competitively negotiate for the second truck.
Okay, so what?
So what I was telling him was, if you're going to order the one truck from Walters, then award that bid for the one truck, but then you need to declare an emergency purchase for the second truck. Because you're not rejecting the bid. You know what I mean? If you can negotiate non-competitively if you reject the bid, but where you're going to award the bid for the one truck, then that kind of puts a monkey wrench in it.
So what we need to do,
Is award the one bid for one truck.
okay,
But then the second one, you need to declare an emergency purchase because of a limited availability, and then that bypasses the bidding procedure for that truck.
okay.
Let me add this if I can.
Greg, pull your mask down, because I've just got a text that people can't hear you with the
I'm
with the
sorry.
mask on.
Let me add this too, if I can. I talked to Representative Bruce Walters. They were going to order a couple of trucks as fleet trucks.
Pull that mic a little closer.
They were going to order a couple of trucks for fleet trucks to put in their inventory. He said, there's no obligation to you. If down the road you need them, I'll have them in a few months. So I don't think we necessarily have to say, yes, order them for us. He's planning on ordering 2 trucks like we use, and he said it would be at our discretion if we decided we needed them down the road. He said, if you don't, that's fine too.
Let's do
Something
this.
that will allow us to do is, in the meantime, see if there's another truck out there that we might be able to get quicker.
Okay, let's do this. It would be my motion that we reject the bid because we need the trucks and they're not available. Would there be a second to that? To reject the bid since they're not available?
But I thought there is one available.
No, it's not available from the bidder. It's available from Dutchess Chevrolet.
okay.
Or
All right.
Dutchess Ford.
All right.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
But we need to reject the bid first.
Okay.
So I've got a motion for that. You second that?
I second it.
All right. Any other question or discussion on that? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Judge Jones?
You've lost me on that one, Brian, because they're not available.
I'm back to what Frankie said. I thought we should go ahead and accept one, while we're waiting on a truck, and then order on a truck.
But he said they're going to get them in anyway, and it ain't going to change anything when they get them in if we still need them. We're going to keep trying to find one before then. So if it's 3 or 4 months before they get it in,
If you reject the bid, then you're all right the way that it's going to work. It's just if you award the bid. So if you reject the bid and the trucks are going to come anyway, you'll still be okay. You can non-competitively negotiate for this other truck
if you
reject the bid.
hang on a second here. It's real simple. If you award this bid to Waters, then you're obligated to take one of the trucks if it's 4 months from now or longer. They're going to get them in. They're going to order them.
Okay.
If we can and we need another truck that we could buy through competitive negotiation between now and then, and you've awarded the bid, then you're going to end up buying 3 trucks. So I just want everybody to understand that. The second thing is it will be my motion that we declare an emergency due to the fact that we have equipment needs and solid waste that we otherwise cannot meet, and it's an immediate need, and that would allow us to negotiate competitively for the purchase of the one truck that we have located at Dutch's Auto in Mount Sterling. Would there be a second?
Wait a minute, Judge, we need to finish the first one.
We didn't vote on the first one?
The reject, you started.
Okay. Let's call the roll on that one.
I got to you. I got his no and then got to you.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought I cast my vote. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So now I have a motion that we declare an emergency to allow us to competitively negotiate for the acquisition of the only truck that we've been able to find that meets our needs in the solid waste department. Is there a second?
Can I ask that you authorize a check for that as well?
I'll get to that. Yes.
First of the week. Yes.
Second.
Okay. So we have a second from Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion on that? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Okay. Is there a motion to purchase under our emergency authority a truck from Dutch's Auto, a F-350, for the purchase price of $43,900 and approval for issuing a check to pay for it, and to allow the county judge or treasurer to sign all necessary documents? Is there a motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next thing that we need to address, now we're going to have a truck at the first of the week. If you want to bid these easy dumps, now if we've got a contract that's already in place, because we've not bought one with the sweeper and the tipper, right?
We've bought the tippers for the other trucks. We bought actually one sweeper for one of our trucks just a few weeks ago to see how it worked. We understand that it does work well, and we want to add that to the future ones that we purchase.
So so hang on, let me be the lawyer here and ask the questions, okay? The prices that we paid before were less than the roughly $25,000 each, because the ones we bought before did not have the tippers and sweepers when we bought them.
They had the tippers. I need to go back and look. It seems to me like Larry Beavers put the tippers on several of our trucks. I'm not sure if it was on the easy dumps or not. I need to go back and look.
The ones we had the issue with him on was on those Peterbilts that we got in. I don't remember a discussion. I'm not saying there wasn't. The issue we discussed here in court at one time was these tippers, and there was an issue that came up about that. But it really, the thing is, you're going to have a truck here next week. So you all got to decide, whether you want to bid this out. Now, you're talking another week and a half to 2 weeks to get a bid out and get them back in.
I would say we'll go ahead and buy the one.
Okay, hand me that paper then, and I'll give you the motion to make. Bid the other one if you want to. All right, it would be, is there a motion to authorize the purchase of a Perkins 6-yard SAT full-body bed mount with HD cylinders base unit, and an easy dump with folding arm lifter with curved arms. Let me do the math here. For the price of $25,496.72. We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. All right. Greg, if you would, today, run on up there to your office and pull out what we did on those other ones and make me a copy of what we did so we can go ahead and give it all today before this meeting's over. I want everybody to have a copy of it so we're all on the same page. You know, it shouldn't be this hard to go about buying a truck. I mean, we need it, and, you know, this is the kind of gyration we don't need. We just need to have all the numbers. So if you can run up there and get me the numbers, you know, if for some reason we bought these and they were cheaper, then we're going to make a motion to rescind what we just did. So run up there and get me those
On
numbers.
easy dumps and accessories.
Easy dumps and accessories, yes.
I'll do that, thank you.
The next thing you've got in your packet, gentlemen, is a list of the pieces of equipment that are out in the maintenance garage. So, Reggie, can you come up for just a second? And I'm gonna let you and Fabian separate out. You might have to pull your mask off because it's really hard. I'm hearing people are texting me that they can't hear. So, you gentlemen will pull those mics close and pull your mask off. Reggie, I just want to talk briefly. We've got 2 of the mini packers. We've got all the Dodges off the road, correct?
That's correct.
And we're going to take those to auction.
That's correct.
All right. And we've actually only got 5 of the Dodges. We have one that wrecked, was totaled.
Right.
It's already gone. So we'll be able to get 2 of those older packers, the GMCs, off the road. That gets all the old, what we basically was referring to as junk equipment, off the road, correct?
That is correct.
And when that's done, we will have purchased 13 and put on service 13 new garbage trucks during this term of the fiscal court. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, I mean, that's a remarkable accomplishment. And you've been in business a long time. You ran a fleet of, how many trucks did you have in your fleet?
A lot.
Okay. So my question is, do you think we're going to start now seeing the savings on the maintenance side?
Yes, we already are seeing it.
So I appreciate your hard work on this because it's been, you know, you can't keep throwing good money after bad. And that's what we've been doing.
That's correct.
And it's over now. So, and we've been able to save enough money and make enough positive changes to solid waste that we're actually turning the corner. I think that's a fair statement.
Oh, you absolutely turning the corner.
So the other issue is I want you to sit there because we've got some stuff that you brought to my attention with Fabian last week. Before we get into this, Mr. Little has presented us a list of the paving that has been done with a running tabulation of the work that's been spent. Currently, we have put down somewhere near 11,000 tons of asphalt with mileage of about 22 miles of asphalt that we've already put down. There's another 22.55, and this is out of the coal severance tax paving. We still have approximately $89,858 to pave for paving in Commissioner Robertson's district, $34,000 left in Commissioner Tackett's, and $352,461 in Commissioner Booth's. Thank you all for the work that you've done on this. Is our paving machine that we bought doing the job?
It's doing an excellent job. We wouldn't have been able to do this if we hadn't have purchased it.
Okay. And we still have about the flex money that we received from the state, which was about $405,000. So far, we have applied about a little less than 3 miles of that we've put down. We've got about another 2.7 miles remaining. Applied about 1,319 tons of asphalt with the flex money. We still have remaining about $301,000 in flex money. So we are going to have some more paving that we're going to try to get done. Some of this may not get done if the asphalt plant closes until spring, but it's going to get done this year, and we're going to try to do the same thing again next year. I want you to thank all the members of the road department for their hard work and the excellent job that they've done on this paving. I've been out and looked at most of the paving jobs. They've done a great job.
Yeah, they have really worked hard, from the operators to the truck drivers to the guys raking and shoveling. Everyone's come together and pulled together to get this done. And like you said, though, it was mostly, we probably will not get all this done. We'll start back as soon as the plant opens up in spring.
We do need to get the flex done to make sure we get that done this year.
That will run to about July.
All right.
We've got.
Now, the other thing is we've got the road department progress report in the packets. This will be posted on Pike TV. Is there a motion to approve the road department progress report? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Now, Fabian, if we could start the PowerPoint presentation that we have in this. When we came in, not only did we decide to do a capital plan for our equipment needs and solid waste, the road department, public works, we also felt it was necessary, and it was your idea, that we inspect every county bridge, all the county roads, to make sure what our needs were. Are there any dangerous conditions, anything that desperately needs to be addressed? I don't know that had been done before. And it was your idea to do this, and you've brought me your preliminary report, and the public needs to understand that the state does inspect a lot of bridges. I don't know they inspect all of them. We've had the state shut down some of the county bridges, and we've had to make repairs to them. Other bridges were shut down. They were replaced by the state under the Bridge in Kentucky project. But you've identified 9 bridges that you are seriously concerned about, and that now that I've looked at them, I've got some serious concerns about them. And I've asked you to put together a plan to repair or replace these bridges. The public needs to understand before they see this that I've already talked to Mary Holbrook at the District 12 of the State Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways. And Mr. Little and I met with Barry Davis, who's the field representative, the regional field representative, over about 40 counties for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And we met with him Wednesday and had a very positive meeting. So, Fabian, I'm going to let you start with this presentation because I think it's really, it's going to be eye-opening, some of the infrastructure challenges that we're going to have to deal with.
Okay. You want to flip through for me, or you want me? Will you slide this down? Okay, Judge. Well, I just kind of started out with just saying that, some hidden dangers are our bridges. And the reason I say it's a hidden danger is because as we drive across them, everything will look good on the surface. But once you get underneath and you start seeing what's under there, that's when you kind of figure out that you have a dangerous situation. And then also is just from, which I can show you as the slide goes on, but the cost to replace these bridges is going to far exceed what our budget will allow. We just don't have the money budgeted for road department to replace all the bridges that we have failing right now.
All right, let's start with the first one then.
Okay, this one is at Lick Branch of Marbone, and the first picture would just show you what I was talking about. At first glance, that bridge doesn't look bad, but if you look at the second photo, you can see that the wall it's gave way, and at some point they'd went in there and tried to shore that up just to hold that wall in, which is not a, this whole entire bridge would have to be replaced from the ground up, from footer up.
Piers to the decking.
From the footer to piers to the deck, yes.
It looks like where this where the pier is cracked and failing, that when they braced that, they put two I-beams under it and welded a cross beam on it.
Yes.
Is that even sitting on concrete?
That is sitting on some type of a footer, and I'm assuming that they have probably poured the footer and then buried those I-beams in that footer.
So my other question is, it looks like to me that the right I-beam is starting to bow out some. Is that?
No, it is, yes. And I mean, this all goes back to, the rust. I mean, all of this that's in there right now is going to give way. I mean, even what they have braced with is deteriorating to where that's going to give way also.
And tell us the dimensions of this bridge and your estimate to repair it.
All right, the bridge is 50 foot long, which the running deck right now is just 12 foot wide, which we would rather that be 14. So we would expand that if we built this new, and then it's 12 foot high. And at that dimensions, it would cost us around $112,000.
Gotcha.
To replace this structure.
All right, let's go to the next one.
This bridge is on Elkhorn Creek.
This was the one that I had the most concern about.
Yeah. As you can see in the first picture, you see a little swag or a bow about midways of the bridge there. That's due to, which has to be overloading, which, some rusting of the beam has added to that, but then that beam has been overloaded at some point to get it to bow and flex the way that it has. And, there's no way to remedy that now other than to just completely tear this down and start from new.
Now, this is the one bridge, though, that the I-beam looks like it's sagging several inches in the middle, and you can look at the decking on the bridge, and even from the top, and it's...
Oh, there's not a crack in it. On the decking is perfect, but you can just see the swagger and the bow in it,
Judge, I think in the past that the people that lived over there had a lot of heavy equipment.
They did.
Big trucks, mining equipment, and used that bridge quite a bit.
Well, it's, and some of those piers, I understand, are not setting on.
No, those pipe have been just hammered down into the water bed to solid, and then what you get of that is it's a good system for a few years, but then they will always rust at the water line. So I mean, and that's what's happening to here. That's why this bridge would have to be totally replaced. There's nothing there that's salvaged that you can work with.
And the rust is the major structural problem.
It is.
And you're showing that this is 92 feet long, 16 feet wide, and 14 feet high.
Yes.
With an estimated cost of repair of about $145,000.
Yeah, and that's a conservative estimate also.
All right. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, this one is Edgewood Lane. Again, you know, the bridge from top looks great, but you get underneath and you can see that the walls are failing, even though, you know, the beams look to be in pretty good shape, but it's the backing behind that they've put in behind these beams to hold the dirt. That's all rusting away and failing. And at some point, I mean, if you see they've welded a brace on there, at some point they must have decided that that beam was sagging or flexing, so they've added some type of support system there to try to correct that. But anyway, this bridge is 35 foot long, 12 foot wide, 10 foot high, and at that dimension, it would be $110,000 to replace.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
This one is at Greasy Creek and Dry Fork. It's at the intersection where Dry Fork runs into Greasy. This bridge is, actually, that's a new one on me. If on that second picture, I've never seen them using any type of a decking like that for concrete. But it looks like they've taken a galvanized pipe and wedged it in between the beams to seal that off and then poured the deck on, which there was really nothing wrong with that other than that the beams are failing now. I think myself and Commissioner Robinson, he was with me when we went and looked at this bridge, and the beams have just about rusted in two completely, haven't they? Which both walls would have to be replaced also. The dimensions on it are 31 foot long, 20 foot wide by 10 feet high, and that would be a conservative cost of $70,000.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Upper Terrytown Bridge. Now this bridge is not really that old. It's probably been built within the last 15 years, I would guess. But you can see in the bottom picture that beam is completely rusted through.
You can stick your hand back through it.
Oh yes, and honestly, you could go in with just a little chipping hammer and bust that all that's remaining. You could bust that out. I first was thinking, you know, which we can go in, take that deck off, replace those beams. Then, as you see, this wall, though it's not a concrete wall, we would still need to remove all that rust and repaint on both sides of that, just to prevent that rust. So that's the reason I have that at a $35,000 cost to rehab that bridge.
Okay.
The next one is at Little Robinson Bottom. This would have to be completely replaced. As you can see, the walls on here are not really poured on a footer. They're just sitting on the creek bank. So we would want to go in and completely remove that, dig a footer, get it down to solid, and then build your wall up. That's 34 foot long, 10 foot wide, 5 foot high, at a price of $56,000.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
And this one is Watson Hill. This bridge, basically, the biggest problem on here is the deck and the beams again. It's 52 foot long, 13 foot wide. Again, we would want to make that 14, and then it's 12 and a half foot high. We're thinking we can probably do this job with that deck for around $40,000.
All right. You know, I do want to mention this bridge. You mentioned this about the wall structure. That wall structure has got to be, decades old, because it looks like it's, I don't know if it's concrete or if that's, cut stone or.
It really looks like hand-cut stone,
That's what I'm saying. It's hand-cut stone or.
Like the old gyms was built out of.
The only concern I've got about it is if you get in there and once you take these I-beams off, it's always possible that you could find out, because I suspect that decking and those I-beams have been replaced previously.
They have been.
The question is, when you take that off, is there a risk that you're going to find structural issues with the walls at that point?
Absolutely. Absolutely
And,
possible.
it may be that we do need to get an engineer to look at them and say, because at some point, even though they look like they're okay, they've been there for decades. We may need to get somebody to look at that.
Well, I mean, it's also we could always just completely tear that out and build from ground up again, new footers, new
And
walls.
that may be what we need to look at that, because, I mean, I don't want to spend $40,000 plus on new decking and new I-beams, and then a few years down the road have those walls become an issue. So,
Correct. I mean, well, that's legitimate. I mean,
okay, all right. Let's go next to Low Gap Hollow Bridge.
okay, now, as you can see, this is actually a recent bridge, a recently built bridge. You can tell by the walls. But if you look down at the bottom picture, look at the beam, how much deterioration it's had. I mean, you can actually stick your arm through that beam.
Do you think they put used old I-beams on this bridge when they built it?
That is very possible. I mean, to have that kind of deterioration, and I don't know when this bridge was built, but you can see it's not been that long ago. It couldn't have been.
I mean, the I-beams are completely rusted out.
Completely gone.
So,
But now on this one with the walls, we know those walls are in great shape, so we can just take the deck off, purchase new beams, and then pour another deck.
all right, now let's go to the next. Before we go to the next slide, well, for these 8, you've given us a cost estimate of $600,500, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now, you've also got another one that you've identified that's not on the PowerPoint presentation.
Well, this one just came to me today, and this is what there's many, I mean, for these 8 and for this PowerPoint, we could sit here for hours on the bridges that we have that are like this. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have, and that's why the money, that's the reason I'm trying to stress about the money.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You spent almost 30 years working for the county
I did.
in the road department. Commissioner Booth spent close to 32.
Yep.
I'll just ask you two a question. Was there ever any kind of plan put in place to inspect and replace these bridges as they became, dangerous or deteriorated?
Not really an inspection plan. We did have a bridge crew at one time that they'd put on for one summer. They was able to build probably 10, 15 bridges, I would say. But that was the only closest thing.
That was like a government-funded program during that year or something.
It was through, I think it was also through the CAP program where the
Yeah.
CAP paid so much for the workers. And then, because I helped build several of those bridges that they built,
Where's this last bridge at?
Willie Bevins.
Willie Bevins.
And it looks to me, it's also was built
It's-
out of that cut stone that.
See, that is exactly the same cut stone that you were referring to on the last.
I mean, and like I said, it's eventually going to fail, and it's eventually, we don't know how long it's been there. It may be that we're looking at somewhere between, we don't have, you've not done an estimate on this one yet, but
No.
what are you figuring on this one? Probably another 60 or 70 here?
That would be, somewhere around 60 or 70. And then, just because I've done this, Judge, the bridge prior to where if we took that wall out, you're looking at probably another 100. I mean, that would put us in probably the 120, 130,000 price range. And when I say 120, 130, that is with our labor, our equipment,
Fabian,
material.
when we build these bridges and get all the welding and stuff done, can we spray these beams with?
We have started.
Coating.
Actually, the deputy judge and myself, we've talked about this very thing. As we've started, we actually purchased a sprayer, and I vowed that we will never build another bridge unless those beams are sprayed.
Yeah, we started that several months ago.
Yeah.
So here's where we are. We're probably looking at somewhere with you add Willie Bevins in the piers on that other bridge. You're probably looking at somewhere near $700,000 or $750,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. The state will give us $80,000 from their emergency fund. Is what we were told yesterday.
Per bridge?
No.
Total.
No, 80,000.
No,
No.
hang on a second here. $80,000 from an emergency to fund one of these bridges on or maybe two of them. The rest of them, we need to immediately get in the 80-20 program. The 80-20 program is the state will pay the 80% of the cost of replacement. We pay 20%. So if you take the 80,000 off and then the state picks the 80% of the rest of it up, our labor and materials, our labor and equipment, I assume we can count part of the equipment use, will go toward our 20%. So it's going to cost us some money, but I would say somewhere in the $120,000, $150,000 range at the most out of our pocket. We're going to be paying labor anyway, so really it's just going to be equipment use and those kind of things. But we were talking about if you get the 80,000, what I would like to do with the 80 is use that to do 2 of the bridges that would cover at least 2 of them in total.
Yeah.
So that way, your bigger projects you would do on the 80-20 part of it. I mean, but is there a limit on the number of bridges or the amount of money we can get on the 80-20?
There is, and they have to, and it's at the state's, they would come out, every project that I would submit, they'll come out and inspect, look at it, see if it's really a need, and then it's up to them of which ones they fund.
So some of them they may or may not fund.
This is right.
So we also, Fabian, need to get a request in to the transportation cabinet. I mean, I want this done next week. I want the 80-20 application, the emergency application put in next week.
They will be.
And I want the application for bridging Kentucky for the bigger projects.
Okay.
I mean, the more expensive ones, if we could get in 1 or 2 of them in bridging Kentucky. The concern I have is we need to identify the ones of these 8 bridges or 9 bridges that are the most structurally unsafe. Because we've got some of them with school buses going over them. We've got some of them with, heavier trucks and equipment going over them. So to me, the way we do this is we identify the worst ones first. The issue is by doing these in-house, it's going to be a slower project than if we're able to contract some of them out. So it would seem to me that we need to see what we can get from the state in terms of the 80-20 program, the Bridging Kentucky program, and the emergency funds, and let you and Judge Hickman help me put together a plan to figure out which ones we do first and whether we contract some of them, because you're already going to be able to do 1 bridge at a time.
Exactly.
And you're getting ready to go into the heart of the winter where you're going to have to potentially be dealing with snow removal, salting, and the problems that you're dealing with there. You don't know if they're going to have, potential flooding. I mean, you just never know what you're going to deal with. So, and it's harder to build bridges in the winter than it is in the summer. So the question is, how quickly, if we do these internally, can we get them all done?
You're going to look at probably a bridge a month, maybe a bridge every 3 weeks.
We tried to get started on one last year at Rogers Park.
And we're
Turkey
still.
Creek, and we got material there and never did get to it because of everything that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many employees.
That's it.
So are we better to start in the spring on the bridge?
No, I would rather start the bridge honestly in the winter. I mean, I know my guys won't like me for saying that, but it's
Some
actually.
of these can't wait.
Wait.
No.
They cannot wait. Well, let me tell you right now, to me, the most important thing is getting these, when you've got I-beams that you can you can crawl through the rusty holes in them. Potholes aren't going to kill somebody. A bridge failure with a school bus on it
Well, I mean,
is,
It's just like, they called me from Greasy and they said, I know y'all worry about roads and ditches and everything else, but you need to go up there and look at that bridge. So I called Fabian, went up there and looked at it, and we couldn't believe it. I mean, it's, that guy had to crawl out in the creek and look at it to know how bad it was, because that's what we had to do.
I guess reason I was asking, do we start now, do we start in the spring? I know a lot of these bridges, like say Penny Road Bridge, Penny Street Bridge, Penny Bottom, there's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah. So, that, I don't mean to cut you off, Commissioner, but what I was saying, in that situation on Penny Street, my time I would like to start that would be in the middle of the hot summer, and the reason being is you're less likely for storms or bypass it, because we'd have to put a bypass in there to keep everybody coming in and out.
Right.
You know,
I was just wondering how many of these other bridges, are there another way out, or is that the only way in?
actually, on just all of these right here, it's the only way in and out. Only way in is this, is the bridge you're looking at.
Well, the one at Greasy, though, we can tear it out, and they've got a way in and out, and dry fork or the
Yeah,
Greasy
because
one.
they can go up back across the drive.
Terrytown, same way, right?
Yeah.
Ain't the two bridges in, okay.
Yeah,
That makes it a
Terrytown,
little
they can.
easier.
Those may be a little easier to read. I guess why I'm saying that is they got a way in and out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not putting stuff in the creek, and if we get big snow and then it thaws,
Right.
goes from below 0 to 70, we're not going down the creek picking our pipes up.
All right, so we've got a plan for these, right?
Yeah, we do.
So will we contract the bridge at Penny Street out or do it in-house?
No, we'll basically have to do that one in-house, and it's because of the money. You couldn't, I don't think you can contract that bridge out for that and get it done and get it built for that, for the 350,000.
That was the goal when we put the packet together, I think, was we to do it in-house. That's the reason it was at 350,000.
It might be worthwhile to put it out for bid and see if somebody would do it for that.
We can.
That's possible.
Because here's why, okay? That frees us up to go on to another project that we could be working on 2 bridges at once.
Right.
So why don't we get Greg to go ahead and put a bid out and see if we can get somebody that would put, you'll have to help him with the specs on it. And let's put a bid out for that and figure out if we can get somebody to do it for the 3, within that money.
Okay.
Because, Reggie, what's your thoughts on that, Judge? I'm hopeful that we can do it for the 350 internally.
We can internally, we can.
Well, the business is slow right now. They might be somebody jumps all over it, might even do it for less than that.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's worth taking a shot to do it.
I agree.
And it would also, on the emergency money, if there's enough there, if we could put 2 of those other bridges out that the 80,000 might cover on that, and we could get somebody to bid them and do them, that takes care of 3 of them, and that would only leave 5 for us to do internally. So, or 6 for us to do internally.
Well, if we do bid the Penny Street Bridge out, who will be over them to make sure that they do what we want done?
Well, that would have to be me.
You'd have to have specs in the bid package and the contract. And then
Fabian would be over the,
Fabian would be the project manager.
okay, sounds good to me.
They don't get paid till they do it right, so.
That would be even painting the beams.
Yeah. We'll put that.
We could do that. I mean, there's some of that you could do, but I
Right.
mean, I'm just saying, if it helps us speed up replacing some of these bridges that we think are structurally unsafe, some of them, when you see I-beams, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna move on. When you see I-beams that have completely rusted out from top to bottom, it raises serious concerns. And when Judge Hickman saw the pictures of some of these before I did, he came to me and said, "You've got to see this. I mean, this is a major, major problem. It's a public safety issue." And, like I said, if we have to pull more than one crew off of pothole patching and all that to build bridges, that's got to be a priority. To me, that replacing some of these bridges that we think are structurally unsafe is the priority of the road department.
Well, this steel structured bridge, I think we need to know where the metal comes from too. I think it ought to be made in the USA, not China.
Well, you don't know. Some of that may have been steel that was left over from something.
That is a problem. That's a problem with my trucks. The metal comes from China that's built on the beds. They're not worth a crap.
But just for the Terrytown Bridge, I was telling you, I've built several of these bridges I actually set those beams and know that those were brand-new beams, and there's no way they should have rusted out by, that would have been within the last 17 years. So,
Yeah, I was thinking 20 to 15 years, that bridge.
Yeah, it should
so
last
those
a lot
beams
longer
should
than
have
that.
well outlasted that.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing. Let's move on to treasurer's business and knock this out, because we do have a need for executive session. Mr. Stacy, treasurer's business, please.
Authorize the following interfund transfer for October to transfer $1 million from the general fund to the road fund, and it's a budgeted transfer.
Is there a motion to authorize transfer of $1 million from the general fund to the road fund as a budgeted transfer?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Judge Jones?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's monthly financial statement ending October 31st, 2020.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's monthly financial statement for ending October 31st, 2020?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Authorize a standing order to reimburse Shelby Valley Volunteer Fire Department for House Bill 352 coal severance project Q016 for bay number 3 truck bay extension in the amount of $12,500.
Is there a motion so to authorize a standing order to reimburse Shelby Valley Volunteer Fire Department for the House Bill 352 coal severance project Q016 for the Shelby Valley Volunteer Fire Department Station 3 truck bay extension?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Authorize a standing order for checks to be issued to Geosyntech Consultants for the additional permitting and drilling expenses for the Pike County landfill expansion that was approved by court order September 23rd, 20, number 2.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Last thing I have would be to authorize checks for registration fees only for any employee who wishes to participate into the November 12th Kentucky Magistrates Commissioners Association virtual training courses. It's $25 per course per individual.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. And thank you for the hard work in helping getting the county's finances in order. Much appreciated. Next item on the agenda is need for executive session. There is a need. I'd like to ask Pike County Attorney Kevin Keene to please instruct the public and the court on the relevant provisions of KRS Chapter 61, the Kentucky Open Meetings Law, as it relates to entry into executive session.
BKRS 61810 subsection C and F to discuss pending litigation and specific personnel matters.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session? Motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, we are in recess until call of the chair for the purpose of executive session. We do not believe that this is going to take a whole long time, so hopefully we can wrap this up fairly expeditiously. Call the court back to order. Is there a motion to adjourn from executive session?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. It is my motion to approve hiring Janet Potter temporarily as a COVID-19 safety worker effective 10/28/20, and approval to move Billy Tussey from a helper at the animal control from a helper to animal control officer at a 3H rate of pay effective 11/2/2020 based on him passing his test. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. Next item on the agenda is the Pike County Department Supervisor's comments. Mr. Fan, you have anything? Come on up and you can.
On November 19th, 2019, we awarded a bid on bid number 39-2019 for Easy Dump satellite dumper with the tipper on the rear. That bid was awarded to Municipal Equipment for a bid price of $20,778.16. We have recently purchased a sweeper top for the top of one of these dumpsters on a state contract price of $9,432.79. Since we awarded this bid in the last year, Municipal Equipment has put all this Perkins equipment on state contract price. So if we went by this bid of $20,778.16 and add the sweeper top of $9,432.79, that would be a total of $30,210.95. The way it's on state contract price, we can buy the Easy Dump with the rear tipper and the sweeper for $25,495.73. So in other words, buying it like this on state contract price for the complete package, there's a savings of $4,715.22. So in this instance, it's a whole lot better to buy it on the state contract price than it is to bid it.
I agree.
So I guess we need approval to go ahead and buy the satellite complete dumper with the sweeper top and easy tipper from state contract price, Municipal Equipment.
We've already did approval for one.
Yeah, because we just have one truck right now, really.
We're just going to have one truck, so let's just get the one. I think we approved that. But the point I'm making is, I mean, you're probably not going to save money by bidding the other one.
Correct.
Now, who are we buying this one off of?
Easy Dump, Municipal Equipment. That's who we bought the last one off of. They were the lowest bidder, but now they have all that Perkins equipment on state contract, and it's even less expensive than it was at the time we bid it.
Okay.
So you're getting all three, or all of them for 20, what did you say,
25,495.73, where if we went by this bid price and add the sweeper top, it'd be $30,210.95.
So you're saving about $4,000.
$4,715.
Yep. Oh.
It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
So, Greg, thanks for the hard work on that. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank
you. Ms. Vanover, anything? Ms. Goff, anything? Ms. Clevenger, would you and Mr. Morley come up just briefly and give us an update on, and I know there's something we want to talk about just briefly on the solid waste schedule. Well, how are we doing? I don't know who wants to address this. First of all, let me ask this question. How are we doing on our schedule as far as getting our employees off work quicker, getting the routes done quicker? Are we doing better at that, Chuck?
We're doing a lot better at that. The last 2 weeks, things have really come together. Even we've had a couple of late nights, but we've had up to as many as 8 people off at one time due to some kind of COVID related. If the crew was there at this point in time, I think they've got it figured out. I mean, there's no issues. The only issues we've had the last couple of weeks is people's not there at work. We don't have full crew. There's even one instance on a Wednesday, which is the hardest day they've got, that we had a packer that was, I mean, it was pretty much out for the whole day due to being stuck in Sookies Creek, and they've still able to get done by 6:30 that day. Imagine, I mean, that was without men. That was with about, I think there was 7 off that day. Plus the truck was, I mean, so they've about got this thing figured out. If we just be patient, this thing's coming together.
I've run into some of the guys, and they say it's coming around real good. I think most of them, from what I could tell this week, most of them was home by 4:30, 5 o'clock, you know.
And we had a meeting with the foremen yesterday, which we try to do every week. And the foremen is really, they're starting to mesh together and really figure this thing out. They're coming together as a good team.
I think it's worked better having all the equipment in one location on the, one geographical region of the county in a given day, because if you've got equipment down or manpower, if somebody's off sick or people are off for whatever reason, you've got crews there that can pick up the slack.
Right.
If you're running 4 different crews around the county, you can't do that. I mean, if you've got a packer down in Stone, you can't just send another crew from, Robinson Creek over there or Beaver to cover. I think it's working. And Judge Hickman came up with this plan, you and him, and I think it's worked pretty daggone good. And I want to thank you all, because a lot of people there was some grumbling over it because, it was something new, people getting their schedules changed.
And I want to remind everybody too that we didn't have much time to figure this out either. It was just the idea forced on us due to COVID, and we've made it work. I mean, the struggles we had in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of time we was able to put into doing this thing. We had to really just grab it and go.
I mean, I think it's a testament to our solid waste department that Fayette County stopped door-to-door collection, and we never missed a beat. We kept picking it up. We had changed the routing, but we lost the inmate labor, and we're not using inmate labor now. So I think
I think with hiring the loader people it helped it big. I honestly do that. I mean, I wasn't a fan of it. Be first here to tell you, but I know if you got to have the manpower no matter what. We all know that. I think was it 8 or 9?
They won't be able to hear you if you're sitting out there away from the microphone. You all space out 6 feet apart now, so.
One of the biggest issues that still faces the department, though, and I'll tell the court this, that this is going to be an ongoing situation, is we're working with exactly what we have to have. We've got exactly the right number of trucks, exactly the right number of people. So when anybody's off or there's any breakdowns, we still tip back and forth between being able to complete in a timely manner. So typically running a fleet, you need a couple of extra trucks, and we need this float crew that hopefully Chuck can reestablish here as we go along, or we'll still have some bumpy days. So you can't just be dead on the money when you're running something this big and have an operation of this size. It'll be an ongoing issue.
So pretty much we need 3 mini or easy dumps, like say for a spare one if we needed it.
Well, Commissioner, I'll tell you the thing that we're looking at, and I'm still in Chuck's thunder here because he knows all of this, and so does Stephanie, that it takes a little time to mesh in the 12 yards, and I think Chuck can address that, and we'll address the details of that after I get out of his way here. But how to utilize those 12s is still a work in progress to some degree. And as they have solved that issue, that I think is when we have seen the times become more reasonable for the hours in the workday. And I think it'll continue to get better. These additional 2 easy dumps are a big deal. They are a big deal. They are necessary, and we appreciate you all voting for that and putting those out there on the road.
We don't want to put you out there to fail. We want you to proceed, keep up the good work.
Really, all the credit goes to the 3 foremen you got and the crew of men. They've really, the last 2 weeks, they've really come together and figured this thing out. I mean, they've had some late nights, but like I said, it's been due to the lack of employees due to COVID. I mean, we've got guys off. It's no fault of their own. They've really pulled this thing together the last 2 weeks.
Well, we are maintenance. We're doing good maintenance on these trucks now.
That's what I'm being told.
Yeah,
yes,
that
sir.
came up yesterday in our meeting,
It's been discussed at every meeting.
and they say we're doing good on that now. Well, like yesterday, they had plenty of time for maintenance yesterday. Thursday has turned into the maintenance day. Even when they're shorthanded, they're still able to get in on Thursdays and get things.
I just know greasing is the main thing on them, you know,
Right.
and I know they work a whole lot every day, so. You know, if they,
Well, and I had a discussion too, Commissioner, with the maintenance garage, not this week, but last week, about heavier maintenance, and they assure me they're on top of it.
well, you know, we give the county good trucks, you know, we need to take care of them as long as we can, you know, and don't get in a mess like we were when we first come in here.
Yes, sir. We agree with that wholeheartedly.
I think having the employees on the back of the trucks has made a big difference. That way people knows where the route is. You don't have to depend on that driver knowing where the route is.
Yeah, and you don't have an inmate on there that wasn't there last week, don't know where to pick the garbage up, you know. Somebody that's on that route that knows it, you know, they know where to go to when they get out, step off that
Right.
truck.
And that's helped us out through this time of having men off too, is because some of those guys was drivers that we had off, but because we had permanent loader men, they knew where, you know, whoever the fill-in driver had to be, they knew where they needed to go.
Exactly, and I think that's always gonna be a big plus.
Right.
I think the solid waste department's come a long way since we've been in here a year and 11 months. People's commented on our trucks running up and down the road, they look good, and, you know, it means a whole lot.
The court's been super supportive. We really appreciate it.
All righty. So when we go to, we get into next year, if financially we're okay, do we need another 12-yard?
The capital plan continues to call for one packer a year from here forward,
Just one size packer,
but one packer a year.
Are we talking about a 25-yard or 32-yard? Are we talking about?
25s, yeah.
Okay, so we are going to try to get rid of the 32 yards.
I think it'd be in their best interest.
You can use them.
We've already replaced 2 of those with 25 yards, and the 25 yards has been successful picking up their daily run.
You agree with that, Judge?
Yeah, I do. Well, and in addition too, there might be 1 or 2 of those that could become a backup truck.
Right.
And have some longevity left in it to give us that buffer that I'm talking about.
okay, where if something breaks down, they can go get it and start it and take off.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what yeah, it sounds good.
That makes sense? Yeah.
Yep.
That's the battle plan right now.
So what we need to do then is, we'll get, hopefully, I guess that brings us to the next question. Stephanie, can you give us an update? I mean, is our revenue fairly stable from last year to this year?
Yes, we're on track with our record as when we ended last year. When I ran the report today, we're 2% from December 31st last year. So
Okay.
collections are good.
Are we still finding people that's not paid or different places?
Yes, the last time I ran a report, we had over 1,200 new accounts since this administration came into office.
That's good, that's great.
You put a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And all 3 of the foremen are participating in that very well now, helping us find these people. Due to the new the tailor routing and stuff, and we had a big meeting over that yesterday, they're finding.
All the foremen are using the tablets now and picking up addresses that are not active.
Taking pictures.
And they're all excited about the fact that they're able to do that too. It helps the department tremendously.
You know, another thing I'd like to thank our taxpayers of this county, because I mean, this county's went through a rough time. The nation's went through a rough time the last year, just about it. And, you know, they've continued to pay. You know, that's,
Yes.
you know, I want to thank them for that.
You know, I'm going to go back, and sometimes you still see people, you know, making comments about the rate. And I can tell you with the service we provide, there's no place in America that provides the level of service that we do for the price that we do it for.
I agree.
And if we hadn't done the responsible thing, I can tell you, Chuck, you've been in solid waste how long?
Since 2001.
So 19 years, and you've been there how long, Stephanie? 11 or 12 years? Or since,
Well, I've been in the solid waste department since 2013.
you've been there 7 years. I mean, is it fair to say, and I think leading question, is it fair to say that if we hadn't raised the rates, that there probably would not be a solid waste system right now?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, just because of the equipment we just mentioned. I mean, where was you gonna get the money to replace this equipment if you hadn't have done what you did?
We were in dire need of that.
Yeah. I mean, because, I mean, it just,
I don't think people realize what kind of garbage bill they'd have if we just had somebody else picking it up for them.
I can tell you that we're not in it to make a profit. A for-profit company's not going to do it to break even. And if you had to haul it to Ashland, I can tell you it's going to be a lot more than hauling it to Johns Creek.
Yeah.
I've even heard, there's been people say that the solid waste department don't take care of its equipment. I have to say that we have some of the guys that got some of these new trucks that look as good today as they did today that,
Well, I think they care about it. They want, some of them's got interest they want to take care of. They need to run. They don't need to be a breakdown every day.
Well, they're taking pride in their equipment.
Yeah.
If you give somebody a piece of junk equipment to work on and drive every day, they're not going to show a lot of pride in it. If you give them something that's safe and new, most people will take care of it.
one of the foremen said yesterday he got into one of the guys' trucks and he said he wouldn't care to eat off the floorboard. He kept it so clean.
I've noticed out halls and stuff and run into them, stop and talk with them, and walk up to the truck. I've not looked at one as them.
They appreciate what y'all have done.
They do.
Well, there's a flip side of that. We've held our employees accountable for this. That's probably not necessarily always been the case.
That's correct.
And it's also, it's helped out the garage over there too. I mean, if you had to look at all those solid waste trucks we had every day, and I know they did. I mean, there was one in there in their face every day or more. They're tickled to death that they could do other things besides just work on solid waste trucks. So I think it's helped the garage over there too.
All right. Well, anything else you guys have? Steffi, something real important.
Yes, next Wednesday, we will be observing Veterans Day. We will not be having trash service. It will resume on Thursday, one day later. Wednesdays will be picked up Thursday and so forth.
Thursday will be picked up on Friday.
Friday will be picked up on Saturday.
Friday will be picked up on Saturday, so no one will miss a pickup this week. And then it'll go back to the regular schedule on Monday. So when I came in office, and I very plainly stated that we would find a way to fix this because I had Monday pickup.
Yes.
If you have Monday pickup,
I did too.
Commissioner Robertson did too. It was really bad. I went, last year before, we went, we didn't get pickup on Christmas. We didn't get pickup on New Year's. So we were 3 weeks for a pickup.
It was chaos. We needed some kind of schedule for it.
So
rough on everybody.
So we fixed it. And that's a commitment we made and we did it. So thank you all for helping figure out a way to do that. That was not me. So anyway, how are we on our Robinson Creek law in terms of people dumping out in front of the gate?
Take that. Well, what I'm hearing is that it has gone down, not eliminated, but it's much better than it was.
Just so the public will understand this, we were cited, the county was cited by the state because of that kind of dumping up there.
Yes.
And let me say this, there's a reason that we took those dumpsters out. People abused it and the county was cited as a reason. We received a violation from the Division of Waste Management. We didn't have to pay a fine. We were told to clean it up. If it happens again, that won't be the case. And we can't risk our transfer station permit because people are allowed to dump outside. There's no reason for that. And, we're working on trying to find a way to give more access to those lots. But I still want to point out that if people have an account and they put it out in front of their house, or even if they don't have an account, we still pick it up.
Yeah, if they sit outside the road, they'll get picked up.
If they sit beside the road, the county's going to pick it up. So there's no excuse for illegal dumping, and we're continuing to crack down on that. Maybe we'll get Bruce to come to the next court meeting and give us an update. But I want to thank you all for your hard work, and it's much appreciated.
Speaking of illegal dumps, Bruce has really been working hard on that. He sure truly has. You do need to get him here and let him do an update.
And Robson Creek's open from 2 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday right now. Ain't it?
Excuse me, Jason?
Robson Creek, just letting the people know that they're open from 2 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday.
Right.
And we're working on a
We're working on that, yes. But right.
You all have anything else? All right, thank you all. Ms. Goff, anything from the animal shelter? Mr. Kaiser, anything, sir, from floodplain office? Ms. Hall, anything from the grant office? Mr. Little, anything else?
I'd made a phone call while you were in the executive, and Rural Municipal Aid said that we can submit multiple to the 80-20 bridge funding as long as it doesn't exceed the 80,000, and then we could, on the emergency funding, we can submit the rest.
So we can get, how much money can we get from the 80-20 program?
80,000.
Is it maximum?
That is the max.
So we're still looking for.
And that's also as if the money's in there, because as she was telling me, you know, as other counties request it, that pot dwindles, so we want to get it in fast.
So you've got the 80-20 program, but we can only get $80,000 from it.
Exactly.
So, and we get 80,000, so we'll be able to get enough money to do about 3 bridges.
3 bridges, that's exactly right. I actually have already started working on those 3.
Why don't you call Mr. Davis back and put some, put a request in it that there be something done because of the extent of the problem we're having.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we also now, on the other bridges, we can put in from the emergency funding.
Up to 80,000?
No, on the emergency funding, we can put in for whatever, we can request out the rest of those bridges. Now, it's up to them whether we get that funding, but we can put in for it.
I thought the emergency funding, they were going to give us 80,000.
That's not what she had just told me. I mean, when I just talked to the lady.
Let's see if we can get an email from her laying out what our options are.
Well, that's the reason I'd made the call, and that's what she said they were.
Okay. So I was misunderstanding. I thought they were going to give us 80,000 from the emergency pool.
No, 80,000 is for the 80-20 money.
Okay. Thank you. Or I should say Colonel Downey, anything, sir? Mr. King from the county attorney, anything? Mr. Stacy, anything else? Judge Hickman, you have anything, sir?
To steal your thunder, because I know you'll probably close with this as well, but we have been so close to having COVID-19 cases here within what I call the county family that it's just not even funny. We've spent hours dealing with tracking our own people in addition to what the health department does, and consulting with the health department to make sure we're doing it right as well, and they have been fantastic. I would just implore the county employees over the weekend and in the off hours to choose carefully where you go and what you do, and pay close attention to the basics of wearing a mask and social distancing and sanitizing and doing all of the key things that has kept us case-free at this point. We've been extremely fortunate, but I think sometimes hard work becomes luck. You call it what you want, but we've worked hard, and maybe we've been lucky too. But I would just really implore the county employees to think carefully, especially this weekend and next weekend, because we have so many cases that I don't want to sit and just say it's a matter of time, and maybe it is, but we can control some of this. So I've always been taught to control what you can. And if you can control it, do it. And if you can't control it, then it's something that you find another pathway. So have a great weekend, but just be careful where you go and what you do, and think about the pandemic that we are still in.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Tackett, anything, sir?
No, just other than I just want to thank these employees. What a great job they're doing.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Robertson.
I'm about just like Jason. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all the fellas that's put the blacktop down too. They've really made a difference on a lot of these county roads. A lot of these people are tickled to death, you know, they got blacktop. So I think everybody keep Lonnie Osborne in their prayers for his brother. I mean, I know that's a big loss to him. That's all I got.
Commissioner Booth.
I got judges. I just want to thank our employees for what they've done on their blacktopping. I mean, they've done an outstanding job. I had a few calls yesterday from up in Octavia talking about how good it looked. It was just as good as Mountain Enterprise could lay, and that come from the people that lives up in that holler. So that tells you they're doing a good job.
Gentlemen, thank you all for your hard work, and I don't really have anything else other than I want to say, you know, please take the pandemic serious. We have been very, very blessed and very lucky not to have an outbreak among our county employees. We've had a lot of people missing work to be tested. Every time somebody has a fever, they're having to be tested, and they're having to stay off work until we have people exposed to family members and friends and relatives that we've had, you know, to be quarantined and tested. This is a real problem, and it's not just going to go away overnight. And, you know, when you see, you know, the county suffered a big loss with the passing of Kenneth Osborne. He's one of the nicest people you would ever meet. And again, I want to echo what Ronnie said about our prayers for his wife Brenda and daughter Kelly, his grandchildren. Brenda was my second grade teacher. These are just great people. There's not better people. And I think Fabian, you know, Fabian and I graduated with Kelly. She's a teacher. I think she teaches at Pike Central. These are wonderful people. And if it can happen to Kenneth, it can happen to anybody. And it should be an eye opener. You know, the death toll is continuing to climb here. And I think there was a lot of people that thought, because, you know, they thought we were crying wolf. You know, this is not, you know, they didn't think it was real because the governor and public health officials were saying, you know, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. It just took months longer than we anticipated. But when you're, you know, well over, you know, 1,300 cases, I think, Jeannie, that we were up to in Pike County, you know, when you're up to those kind of cases, those numbers, let me see those numbers again. Let me have them, please. 1,186 cases. I mean, you're closing in on 1,200 cases in a county with, you know, somewhere in the low to mid 50,000 range, most likely, and you still have 336 active and at least 13 deaths. Some people have been really saying some harsh things about the health department. The health department's only acting to try to keep people safe and to keep people alive and healthy. There have been numbers and people questioning, you know, why the health department's numbers that they're releasing are different than the state's. Well, it's my understanding that some of the testing goes to the state first, some of it goes to the local health department first, and they have to exchange information every day. And there's a lag. Some days the state's numbers will be higher, some days the county's numbers will be higher. But nobody's trying to, you know, I had somebody send me a message saying that the county was trying to control people. The county doesn't want to control people. We don't want to see people like Kenneth Osborne die because people don't use common sense. I mean, this virus is extremely contagious, extremely contagious. And, you know, it could be my 77-year-old dad. I mean, you know, it could be anybody. You know, most of our family members have had some health problems. I mean, most of us have had some kind of health problems. And the scary part about this is we don't know who it's going to impact, and they're going to have a fever or runny nose or no symptoms at all, and who's going to end up on a ventilator. But you have 30 people in Pike County hospitalized with this virus. I guarantee you there's not 30 people hospitalized with the flu right now. I guarantee there's 30 people not hospitalized with any other virus that you can think about. And the information I had was that they've had to expand the COVID unit at Pikeville Medical Center. I've heard that from some of the physicians there. This is a real problem. And I talked to one of the administrators at one of the other local hospitals, and their unit was nearing capacity as well. A few weeks back, King's Daughters Medical Center CEO said that their COVID unit was full. That's in Ashland. I mean, that's not New York City. That's, an hour and a half up the road in eastern Kentucky. So please take this serious. And, we don't want to have to shut the economy down. Nobody wants that. I mean, my business suffered from that. All you have to do, wear a mask, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, socially distance, and avoid crowds. If you do that, you got a really good chance of avoiding this. It's a scary thing to think about how many people have caught it, even when they have used every precaution. So it is that contagious. So continue to pray for those people who've been impacted by that. Continue to pray for our country. The election's over with. We want to congratulate all the people who've won. It is one of the pillars of democracy that, there are elections every 4 or 6 years, depending on what office it is. And we want to congratulate everyone who has been a victor, Senator Wheeler and Norma Kirk McCormick, Representative-elect. Look forward to working with them. And we've got a lot of things that we have on the agenda here, and it's going to take a lot of work, but I think the county is turning the corner. We have some serious challenges, but I'm happy with where we are at this point, considering the fact that when we came in office, the day we took office, the county had $100,000 in the bank. I think, is that right, Mr. Stacy? $100,000 in the bank when we took over, and we've made remarkable progress in terms of stabilizing the county, and we've done it without raising taxes. So I think that's something to be proud of, and I'm proud of the work that these guys have done. So that concludes my business, and if there's no other business to come before the fiscal court, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other matters to come before the court? If not,
I had a benediction.
Oh, forgot the benediction. I'm sorry.
Judge, before we do this, you mentioned 30 deaths in this county. That's in every community from Virginia line to West Virginia line, surrounding county. Those are people, a lot of people as pillars of our communities, whether it's around my house, your house, Ronnie's. We're sitting here. It's been neighbors of ours, friends of ours. And we just need to keep all those families in our prayers.
Absolutely. Colonel Downey, would you like to say the benediction for us? Good.
Father in heaven, today we thank you that we've had the governing of we ask for guidance, even all through with our we ask for help for the people, especially ask for your hand. Touch those who are suffering, those who have lost what they love. We ask for your continued blessings upon us.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Amen.
So is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes, we are adjourned.